Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. My name is Jerry, also known as Grizzly Bear Sims. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode. We are on Lawfolds, and this is episode number 17. And as I had indicated, I went ahead and fast forwarded through the first game day of summer. The last time we were together, we tended to our sheep and kind of got them, sold some wool, fed them and such, and so they're sitting high and pretty right now, back at the sheep pasture, obviously. And today we are going to start the task of doing a little harvesting because, well, we own 9 fields here on Lawfolds, and the way that I sort of have it figured is we're going to have our hands busy to get all 9 of those fields harvested. Let me see. What do we want to go? Let's use the JCB here, and let me get my head tracker all situated and get out of the cab. All right, had to reset my steering wheel because the tension was quite tight on it. All right, so we are just going to pull around here and grab our tipper trailer, which should be, I believe, over here someplace. Is that the one that we were using? I suppose so. That will work. I guess it's the only one that we have. I think we had 2 on this map and I sold one of them, so we'll grab this guy here. And that's good. Now we do have the weight mod that I was describing in Colborough Park Farm. We do have that installed on this map, so things will feel a little bit heavier than they normally do in the vanilla game, so not a problem there. So we will just pull this guy right up here. We're actually going to do corn today, I thought, because you guys have already kind of seen me do the wheat or barley or whatever we did in the first episode, I think, before we inserted the seasons mod. You've already seen me do that, so that was way back like in episode 1 or something. So obviously, because we are using seasons mod, we are, well, we're just kind of doing things a little bit different, obviously, and doing things with seasons because, hey, that is fun. So I hope you all have had a wonderful, wonderful week. You're watching this on Saturday, so fantastic. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Of course, it's still midweek. It's Wednesday, the 8th of February as I record this. And yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a bit of a long week, I will admit. We're going to be able to grab this guy. There we go. And then we will back ourselves out of here. So this is so some news here about Lawfolds. There is an update for Lawfolds. It came out on the 7th, and this came out prior to as we unfold our header. And we will go ahead and also unfold our harvester and get this guy ready to come on. I'll tell you what, we'll cut a headland this direction, and that way we'll have a little bit more room and we'll kind of go up and down. So today is the 8th of February, and I just do want to remind everyone that I do record, in advance, and so if I do say something, like for example, probably earlier in the week in one of my recordings, I was talking about the fact that I wasn't sure when the DLC was going to release or what the DLC was. Obviously, I am tuned into everything that's taking place in the farm simulation genre, at least as it applies to Giants Farming Simulator 17 and Cattle and Crops. And so if I say something in an episode that obviously I record before I find this information out myself, and you see it, I get a lot of comments and everything about that. but it is because I do record a bit in advance, and I know it may not be the best thing to do, especially considering that I talk a lot about news and stuff that is affecting the community and such as that. But yeah, because I record in advance, I'm probably always going to be episodes are probably always going to be slightly behind the 8 ball, so to speak, with regards to latest and greatest newsworthy type items. But anyway, as we all know, as we all learned, what the DLC is going to be, it's going to be the Coon Pack. Quite a lot of goodies in there. I did research further, and in real life, the round baler is actually a wrapper. It will auto wrap while you go. So that's actually going to be quite cool. And for those of us that use the Corona big baler, I believe it was sort of referred to back in FS15, this is going to be great news, really, really great news for us. And of course, I mean, people are still squabbling a little bit about the price and everything, but obviously today, the 8th of February, and again, you're seeing this, going to watch this video on Saturday, 2 days after the fact. Obviously, the 1.4 patch for Farming Simulator 17 hit, and boy, did it hit some users quite hard. I have not discovered any problems with any of the equipment that I have used, at least on Lawfolds. I kind of did a sort of very quick and dirty, took a look at all of my equipment that I was at least planning on using today in this episode, just to make sure that everything kind of worked out and everything was working fine, and didn't notice any problems. But a lot of people are reporting issues with mods, and of course I sort of think that might be expected, just because we've been through this before, guys and gals, with updates, whether it's for Farm Sim 15 or with ATS, ETS2, whatever the case may be. These things always tend to sort of sort themselves out in the end, but it is somewhat of a painful process to go through, because obviously we all spend our good hard-earned money to buy the game from Giants, and I think a lot of people sometimes scratch their noggins, scratch their heads and say, well, why didn't Giants test this better? Well, it's not possible for Giants to test the changes that they put into a patch with every single mod that's out there, because let's face it, Giants probably doesn't really know or dare I say even care about a lot of the mods that are out there. And let's face it, some mods are just absolute junk. Other mods are fine, excellent pieces of craftsmanship that I'm sure Giants do know about and do care about, but it's not possible for them to test every possible scenario. What I have found in my testing, I got up early this morning because I wanted to test the multiplayer server and find out if it had actually been patched, and it had been. So our multiplayer server is running 1.4, and so everything was looking good there. And from what best I can tell, let me just raise the header and try to do this a little more accurate like. From what I could tell, everything with regards to the multiplayer server is working fine. We had one small glitch with a harvester that was kind of stuck in forward gear, and it wouldn't go in reverse, and I think it was sort of had something to do with the drive control. But in any event, and the user that was actually attempting to operate the combine typically does not use drive control, so they typically go in and press and hold down the space bar to disable that. But There are some problems with some mods. I have been following Stevie. Stevie has a Facebook page, and of course, we are running Pine Cove Farm on Stevie's map on the multiplayer server. And so I've been tuned in to what he's been saying, what he's been talking about with regards to what he has been seeing and or what's been reported to him on issues and opportunities and such with that's affecting his map. And some of the Marhu stuff, I believe maybe the sawmill, some of the other things may have some glitches and stuff to them because of the patch. And of course Stevie is going to be all over that just because that's just the kind of guy that he is. But also Stevie is going to kind of sit and be a bit patient about it because we sort of suspect that maybe, just maybe, Giants will maybe release a hot patch or something to perhaps address some of the problems that may have been created, because of their fault or something of that nature. Now, of course, any software developer, and this goes, this also applies for even software that is of the non-game type. Like for example, the company I worked for, sometimes you test and that's not part of my job. I do internal IT, so I'm supporting the employees that work for my company. But as far as testing development stuff with software releases and things of that nature, you can test until literally you're blue in the face, and sometimes things just sometimes get missed. And yeah, you can say, but why does that happen? I'm going to go ahead and empty our guy here. I will get out. So we're doing everything ourselves today. We're going to hire workers probably as we kind of get rolling with our harvest and such. We will most likely hire some help, but right now we're just trying to keep our pennies and everything sort of close to us and doing some of this stuff ourselves. So as I just pull up here, and look at that beautiful gold corn pouring into our tipper. I guess typically we can do that, turn that off so we're not burning gas as our tractor there runs. But something, it is not possible grab a few screenshots there while we're emptying. It's actually not possible for a software company to test in every single possible scenario. And I'm not taking up for Giants, and I certainly don't necessarily take up for the company that I work for, although they are how I earn my living, and I earn a fairly decent living through the company that I work for. But it happens, and so we just need to be patient, and Giants will sort this out. We've been through this before with Giants with FS15. Well, heck, I mean, there was an update to FS17 soon after it came out, and there was a few things that it broke, and the mod developers, they're going to have to maybe update and patch some things. And of course, people are going to ask, well, why did Giants change the way this works in Farm Sim 17 or the way it works in Farm Sim 15? And I just wanted to test to see if Courseplay comes up, and it does, so that's not messed up. But it is what it is, and all will be repaired and all will work just as beautifully as we want it to in due time. And we just need to be patient and let Giants do what they need to do, and let the mod developers do what they need to do, because there may be some issues with other maps and stuff. I also checked Coldwell Park Farm. Of course, I'm running version 2. of Coleborough Park Farm, and everything seemed to be fine with that as well. Of course, I haven't touched every single thing that there is to do there. I'm assuming that my pigs are still alive and my cows are still alive and all that good stuff, but time will tell, and we'll get there and check on all of those things. Now, one thing I do want to say is that there is an update, and I might have started talking about this at the beginning of the episode and got sidetracked, but that I do that. There is an update to Lawfolds, and I noticed it on the 7th, so this was before the 1.4 patch, so the update has absolutely nothing to do with the Giants 1.4 patch, but there is an update for Lawfolds that I have not applied yet, just simply because I'm a little bit nervous about it, and I will tell you that I'm not nervous about it from just the vanilla map, so to speak, or the default Lawfolds map. I'm concerned about it as far as seasons go, just because I would back up my game save before I ever applied the update, and I of course could back up the version of the map that I have, the version of that mod that I have. I could back that up, so if something did go wrong, I could always go back to that point. But because even if things appeared to go right, even if things appeared not to be a problem, I would still have some concerns, maybe some residual type impact that might rear its head, down the road sometime as far as Lawfolds goes with the Seasons mod. The Seasons mod is a wonderful piece of kit, and it is going to be so fantastic when it is available for all, when it comes out of its work in progress and its beta mode and everything. And at this particular point in time, there's no update as far as when that will occur. I think I saw a comment in their Slack chat that they use to communicate to those of us that are using the mod in beta that maybe, before summer, but there's no guarantees, okay? There's no guarantees because, let's face it, because I've not seen a problem with it, that doesn't mean that there hasn't been something that the 1.4 update has caused some problems for the Seasons mod, and they've got to address that, and then, so we just don't know. But it is going to be fantastic, and I will tell you, and I've said this before, and I'm sorry if I tend to somewhat repeat myself from episode to episode, or maybe every 2 or 3 episodes I say some of the same stuff over and over, but when soil mod is ready, when that comes about, whenever that happens to be, and as far as I know, it's not in beta. It's not available to anyone as far as I know. But when that's available, when Seasons is available, that is really going to change Farm Sim 17 as we know it, and it's going to change it for the absolute better. So that is going to be great. So you guys, those of you that are living vicariously through people like myself and Reefy 1952, Landy Kid, others who are actually using the Seasons mod, for those of you who are watching our videos and stuff, I know that they say the same thing. I'm going to say it again. You guys are in for a real treat. It really does help you sort of focus on what you're doing, because without it, you can just kind of, you have no seasons. You have no defined seasons. You have weather that's not necessarily predictable from one game session to the other, and now it is. And so that's going to make, I think that's going to make soil mod even better than what it was in FS15, because at least if we pull up our forecast and we see that we've got the chance of rain, every day this month, so basically we're in game day 2, midsummer. We've got rain, no rain possibly for today, but we've got rain for tomorrow, and we've got rain for the day after that and the day after that. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go ahead and get started with this harvest, even though this field, and if we'll just stop so I can show you in case you guys are new to my channel, if you're running the if you're running the game extension mod from that's available through Mod Central, you will have a growth status. If you hop out and you get into your field like this, you'll see that it shows 66%. Now that means that you basically, after you harvest, you're going to get basically a 66% yield to it as we get back in our tractor or the combine, because it's so loud. But I wanted to go ahead and start harvesting today because, again, like I said, we've got 9 fields that we've got to harvest before the end of fall. And because of this weather forecast, I'm assuming that it's not going to rain for 3 solid game days straight. If it does, we're going to probably be in for a bit of a trouble. But it's probably going to rain for a portion of those days, and if it happens to, rain for a half day, or maybe, we can get stuff done in the mornings, and then it's going to rain in the afternoons. We just have to be aware of that, because obviously we cannot harvest in the rain. There's things that we can't do in the rain because of Seasons mod, and we just have to be aware of those situations. And by the way, if any of you are playing Coldborough Park Farm version 2 on the PC, and you're struggling to get those last 2 pieces of gold, you're in for a bit of luck. Go check out my friend Eustace Pharmer's video that he released on Wednesday, the 8th of February, and he talks about how to address that problem. Unfortunately, he and no one has a fix for you console folks, but for you PC gamers, Farm Sim 17 that's playing Coldborough Park Farm version 2, go out, check out that video, and he will get you sorted out with how to address those. It gives you a couple of different scenarios, a couple of different possibilities that you can do. So all is not lost. Oh, you just gotta love Windows updates. It's wanting me to reboot my machine, but guess what? We are not going to do that just right now because we are harvesting corn. So we're going to jump out, and again, we're doing all this by ourselves today. So we're going to head over for our JCB and grab this guy here, and he's at 38%. So we are okay, good to go there. You can, with that weight mod to it, and I talked about it in the Coldborough Park Farm video yesterday, you will basically, you can, well, you can't really feel it, but you can tell, because you've got a lot less power in your tractor as it is, more or less struggling to try to move everything. So I wanted to get a little bit better screenshot, and I think that's better than the one that I got earlier. And we're off again. So yeah, between between harvesting everything that we've got to harvest, between prepping the fields to get them ready to turn back around again, in the spring to the consideration of possibly some winter crop like winter wheat, winter barley. We're going to be busy, you know. I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot of idle time. You know what they say about idle time, right? It's the devil's workshop or something like that. So we're not going to have a whole lot of that idle time because we're going to be pretty busy. And as a matter of fact, you know, as I've sort of talked about before, there's, you know, for every episode that you guys see, especially in, you know, harvest and planting, because we're coming up pretty quick on our 30-minute mark, and I'm probably going to let this video go just a little bit longer than 30 minutes, but we're not going to get this entire field harvested. But I will, obviously I do the rest of it off camera. And so there's still, you know, quite a bit of work to do. So juggling 2 maps, 2 series, going on producing 6 episodes a week, there's quite a bit to do. There's quite a bit to do. Plus, I'm hoping as soon as I do this episode, as soon as we wrap this episode up here, I am probably going to jump over to the Dude Ranch. And the Dude Ranch, you guys have heard me talk about the Dude Ranch, but I'm going to talk about it again because, hey, you're my audience, and you can't go anywhere, so you have to listen to me talk about this. But the Dude Ranch is the official multiplayer server, dedicated multiplayer server of the 3 Dudes Gaming Network. You'll find a link down below the video on how to get to the 3 Dudes Gaming Network. And it is our official dedicated multiplayer server, and we're running Stevie's Pine Cove Farm map on that server. And our good member and good friend Doug Zorley, who loves to mow grass, I bought him the Corona Big M, and he has pretty much been about as happy as a duck can be cutting grass, and he has managed to cut just about every blade of grass on that map. And well, we're just a little bit behind getting it all picked up. So if you're looking for a job, and if you can drive a tractor and a forage wagon, we'd certainly like to have you employed with us. Just check in at 3 Dudes Gaming Network, and we'll put you to work on our dedicated multiplayer server. We run a very mature and very serious multiplayer server. We sort of pride ourselves in being very mature and doing everything as close to the book as possible. So in other words, we tend to, you know, don't drive through the middle of the fields because we have crop destruction turned on, and you know, we are busy with all of the different works on the farm. We've got animals, we've got mowing to do, we've got harvesting to do, we've got fertilizing, seeding, you name it. It needs to be done, and we've got a job for you if you're interested. So stop on by and check that out. Again, that's the 3 Dudes Gaming Network. Now, another excellent community is the PCSG community, and again, you'll find a link to that in the notes down below the video as well. And I hang out at both places, the 3 Dudes Gaming Network as well as PCSG. So if you have questions about farm sim, or really any simulation-based game, and that goes for both 3 Dudes as well as PCSG. We basically have members who play a variety of different simulation-based games, and even some that are not simulation-based. And so if you have a question, if you have a problem, feel free to come over and post your questions, post your if you're having issues, say for example in FS17 with some errors or things like that, you know, we'd be happy to take a look at your log file and help you try to maybe diagnose what your problem is. Most of the time it has to do with either your game is not up to date, or you've got a dodgy mod or 2 or 10 or 20. And so, but you know, we're willing to help as best as we can. And we've got a bunch of very, you know, active members and very helpful, knowledgeable members. There's no telling how many years of experience in various simulation-based games that we have collectively between those two sites, between the Three Dudes Gaming Network and PCSG. But quite a few of our members have been playing pretty much every version of Farming Simulator since like what, 11 or 9 or something like that. So definitely I know of guys that have played obviously 17 and 15 and 13, but there may even be some folks that have experience with even some of the older versions. Not that I think that there's a whole lot of activity still on those, but you never know. But if you do have a question, obviously we can help you out. PCSG has a pretty wide variety of mods as well, and these are mods that are hosted directly on our server, so you don't have to worry about inappropriate pop-up ads like you get from some mod hosting websites, or you don't necessarily have to worry about the mods being somewhat dodgy. We have the modders that we allow to post mods on the PCSG website are typically members of PCSG as well, and so they're there to on a regular basis to help support their mods and help support the community. And let's see, we also have good partnerships and good network with guys like, for example, with Modding Central. They're a partner site to PCSG, and like the great guys over at Black Sheep Modding that are responsible for maps like Old Springs, or Old Streams, I should say. They are partners of PCSG, and they're in and out from time to time answering questions about their mods, and of course you can get their mods from PCSG as well. Let's see, what else? Who else? A lot of folks that are sort of into modding, especially like on the map development side of things, often, that may be starting out learning, they're there posting questions and getting help from all sorts of guys that have been doing this for years, and everybody is just very helpful. And quite a few YouTube personalities hang out at both of the sites. Obviously, Three Dudes Gaming Network is where you'll find not only myself, but Eustace, Pharmer, and just a host of guys. And PCSG, Reefy 1952, Shawnee B, the Bipolar Prophet, they all stop in on a regular basis. And so if you have a question, or if you have an issue, or if you just want to say hi to those guys, if you've been watching their videos, those are the places to stop in and grab a cup of coffee and pull up a chair, and let's swap some farm lies. Let's talk about I harvested 1 million liters of corn off of a field in an hour and a half's time. I've got a souped up combine harvester, blah blah blah, whatever. You know how those fish stories go. But anyway, we are approaching about 35 minutes, and I am going to go ahead and finish up the rest of this cornfield. Looks like we're going to get fairly good yield off of it. I mean, we're only getting 66% of its potential, but something, I'd rather take 66% of the potential for this field than run the risk of losing 2 or 3 fields because early winter sets in or something like that. And those are things that you got to consider when you are running the seasons mod. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching as my combine fills up and I wasn't paying attention. I do appreciate you watching, and I appreciate you coming back. And as I've always said, I so appreciate the comments and the positive and constructive comments that you guys might have, pointing things out, pointing little errors that I make and stuff like that. And as long as you do things constructive and friendly, you can point out my flaws, because hey, I'm human, and also I will say I'm not a farmer in real life. So I have a small garden from time to time whenever I can think about actually putting some vegetables and stuff in each year. But that's about the extent of it, other than taking 4 years of agriculture shop class in high school, which I'm very thankful for, by the way, because it allows me the opportunity to do things like electrical work and plumbing work and things of that nature around the house that I ordinarily wouldn't be able to do, or have to hire all that kind of stuff out. So very fortunate about that. But hey, it's about 36 minutes into this video, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I value your time. I know that I'm not the only YouTube guy that you're watching. At least I hope I'm not, because you'd be missing out on a whole heck of a lot of wonderful personalities if I'm the only one that you watch. But I value your time, and I appreciate you stopping by. And hey, I will talk to you again on Monday. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week, a wonderful weekend. Don't forget, Valentine's Day is sneaking up. Guys, don't let this pass you by. You'll be in the doghouse. So go out, get something for your sweetheart. And thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye-bye.